know this is your last chance.
Now look here, Johnson, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
The previous play is under review.
Bourbon collection, a whiskey collection. So we've got a lot of stuff downstairs, and we're going to start doing, bottle here till it's out, bottle there till it's out. It's going to take some time because if anybody knows how that works, there are things called allocations.
Yep.
And those things that are hard to get, unless you're selling their other products or you're selling a bunch, they don't want to give you that car business. You sell enough of those 500 GTs, they give you an extra one. Yeah. I sell enough $500 a bottle bourbon, they'll let me buy another one or two.
Nice.
So we're doing that. We're doing that with
awesome.
trying and
I'm here for
there
it.
are groups. I'm in a whiskey
awesome.
club, but just locals. But there are people out there that. And the other thing that we do, not get ahead of myself. You can get a 1 ounce or a 2 ounce pour on our normal menu, so you can try some of these things.
Different.
There's like, I don't want to commit to a $20 drink, but I'll do a $10. I'll take $10 of it.
Yeah.
If you're trying to learn. For a small place, we've got a pretty decent selection, and we're building on it constantly. So of events.
What would you say, because, Zach and I both love bourbon, your top shelf bourbons, top 5 you have right now?
That I've ever had?
No, that you have here.
That I have here. The top 5 that I have here, some of them are not on the shelf, but they're here. I have a very old St. Nick 14-year-old that is ridiculously good. We picked a barrel of 15-year-old. My whiskey club. This is what's cool is we get to pick. It's real stroke. We pick barrels for a local liquor store.
Oh yeah.
And then technically I can't buy from them, but what they do is we'll pick it. She'll send a case back, and once it gets back to the warehouse, then I can purchase it.
You can get it.
So what
Nice.
I try. That's a way.
He's
that's a
beating the
way
system.
For me,
He's
that's a
figured how
way-
to beat the system.
Well, that's a way for me to do it without having to buy the whole barrel, because
Yeah.
then you're talking $10, $12, $15,000, right?
Right.
So we can do that. But so the barrel pick, it was a 15-year-old George Dickel. It's a whiskey, probably one of the best things that I've ever had. We have we keep an Elijah Craig, 12-year that's really good, small batch. The E.H. Taylor is always a go-to. Trying to get more of that. What else? There's a bottle of Jack Daniel's Sinatra downstairs.
That stuff's fantastic.
Very good. And I've got there is a barrel pick of a vintage Weller, a 107, that was picked. Let me think.
He knows the number. I like this.
It was picked 2 years ago by a buddy of mine, Sam Davidson. Does anybody remember Sam?
Yeah.
So Sam owns a liquor store in Berry Hill.
Yeah.
So he did. I have that same thing with him. He buys them and he'll send one back and I can get it. So
Yeah.
The 107 to me is one of the better Wellers, which are very hard to they're very hard to acquire. That stuff's like butter, man. It's just
Love it.
When I open that bottle, I better have 10 of my friends, and we're throw the top away. Just have at it, man.
Hey, there's
Chris
six of us right here.
Yeah.
Can we be friends?
Hey,
There's six. There's six of us right
Can
here.
Chris and I have some sort of, I don't know, invitation the next time that happens?
We're gonna do a bourbon. I'm gonna do a bourbon tasting soon because I've got enough.
Let's go.
It's probably gonna be a high dollar ticket, but
Okay.
I'm trying to put 40 bottles out there to taste.
Oh wow.
And so you get a half ounce. Everybody gets a half ounce. That's 20 ounces of booze.
Yeah.
There's going to be Ubers lined up.
Yeah.
But we'll do food that pairs with it, that is bourbon
my
whiskey
gosh.
friendly.
Yeah.
I've got a line on. I'm trying to get the guy from McAllen to come down and do a tasting.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine. So I've got a lot of contacts that I had from Nashville and from other World Food Championships, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get this right before I start. I don't want to shoot
Right.
the wad too early, kind of thing.
So your all-time favorite bourbon?
My all-time free bourbon.
It's what?
Free bourbon. Somebody else's bottle.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Absolutely.
My all-time favorite bourbon. My all-time favorite bourbon as of right now. It would have to be Barrel Select Elmer T. Lee.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it
12 year.
Yeah,
sounds
sounds
it
cool.
sounds amazing.
Barrel
Sounds
Select.
really cool.
Yeah, that one, or I had a. So when I was in Nashville at Whiskey Kitchen, we had the Old Forester.
Yep.
Okay, Jim Davis come down,
Yep,
right?
yep.
And he gave me, because here's the thing, when you go to a larger
Taco.
city and restaurants,
Taco.
you have the general manager who answers to the chef. The chef is the chef's the man, right? So when these guys would come, especially an account like Whiskey Kitchen, that's
Yeah.
a $8 million a year operation.
Yeah.
He brought me a bottle, a 21-year-old bottle of birthday batch.
Oh.
So if you know anything about that from
Yes,
Old Forester,
absolutely.
family gets together, they make a barrel just for the family for somebody's birthday.
Oh wow.
There was
awesome.
a
That
white
is
label
awesome.
with it written in a silver Sharpie
Yeah.
of all the
That's
info.
cool.
So
That's
let me
cool.
say this:
That
a,
was the best taste of bourbon I've
a,
ever had in
bu-
my life.
a
Wow.
birthday bottle from 2 years ago sells for about $5,000.
Yeah. So this would have been 2010, 9 or 10, and well, back in those days, you get a little drunk, you go home, and that was the only bottle in the house, and we just drank it.
Oh wow.
So
Oh, wow.
I cry every day that I have to talk about this. But
And it's
that
gone.
was-
Oh,
listen,
yeah.
that stuff was it puts everything else in perspective.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like drinking a bottle of a 69 Margaux or a 72 Petrus.
Yeah.
You're talking a $20,000 bottle of wine. It's like, okay, I've had this. Where does everything else line up?
Follows it. Wow.
Yeah.
So that birthday batch was phenomenal. I will say lately I had a number 4 Blood Oath, which I could get into that. This guy goes out and finds orphan barrels. There's another orphan barrel, but he goes out and finds barrels that were forgotten, like they couldn't blend enough. So there's one barrel left here, and he goes out, gets them, and blends them.
Oh wow.
And then once that's done, that's it. And that's a different recipe. Sometimes you get different barrels of different things, but when they blend that, usually you got a 50 gallon barrel.
Yeah.
All right. When you get to something that's 14, 15 years old, there might be 32 gallons in that barrel. You got the Angel Share, Devil's Cut, all
Yep.
that, whatever that is. So anyway, so you might have 60 gallons of this, and they bottle it. They get what they get. And the reason they called it Blood Oath is he takes a blood oath that you will never taste something like this because he makes it, throws it away.
Wow.
And that stuff, I had
crazy.
a number 4.
That is
a 4
cool.
year.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Or the fourth installment, they're up to the next one out is 8. I've got a 7 at home. The next one's out is 8. But one of the guys in my whiskey club's
crazy.
he's them all, and so we cracked the 4 the other day. Goosebumps.
Come on.
All right, here, let me go a different direction. What is the best value, maybe a sleeper out there, bourbon, whiskey that is on the shelf somewhere and you go, you can't sleep on this. It's affordable for every man, but it's
So
it's a
basically,
surprise.
Zach wants you to tell him what bottle of bourbon. he should
Yeah.
buy.
Exactly.
I've
Yeah,
got-
exactly.
I've got mine in my head. Like
So the bourbon.
No, me too. I have a couple.
Oh man, like I would have to say, E.H. Taylor's for the money is good, but it is what it is. There is the Elijah Craig 12 year for that money. I'll tell you what. There is a single barrel early times.
I'm sorry, what?
Single barrel early times. There is
This is what I'm talking about. You got to know this stuff.
there is the 10-year Old Forester.
Yep.
Money. There is so a lot of people, the Bellmead bourbons.
Yep.
There is one that has been aged in a Mourvedre cask, which is a grape. Fantastic. Okay. 30.
Never had that one.
$32, give or
There
take.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fantastic. There's also Chattanooga Whiskey Company.
Yeah.
Has a bourbon.
Yep. Had that.
Worth it. Worth it.
Oh, there
Not
you
them
go.
all. Not them all.
Right.
There you go.
But worth it. And then it depends on what you're looking for. Do you want the smoky? Do you want the sweet? Do you want what we call the cowboy whiskey, which is just straight up like, just what you would get in 1880? You know, there's some people like that. I like mine hot. I like it to be at least 105 above.
Yeah.
Okay, for me to just sip and enjoy it. If you give me a 90 proof bourbon, I'm going to drink it like a glass of water.
Yeah.
You give me a 105 and above,
Sip.
you know, fish kisses.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot out there. I think what was the other Eagle Rare?
Yeah.
Yep. And I say these aren't cheap.
No,
But when when you get a bottle of bourbon like that, you're not going to drink 3 glasses a night. You're going to have a glass every so often. So a $50 or $60 bottle of bourbon, as long as you don't have a bunch of friends over, you're probably going to be okay.
Right.
You know.
He says that from experience.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
Yes.
When him and his buddies knocked
Blew
out
through
that
the
21-year-old
bash birthday.
eating
yeah,
Cheetos
listen,
and watching
I've probably got-
Gladiator.
Watching the 300.
Bourbon, I keep it in 2 places. So I have a wine cellar in my house, and I keep my extras and the big dogs that are unopened back there.
That
And
boy.
then there's a cabinet behind my bar that's floor to ceiling. That's just, I don't know. There's 80 bottles in there maybe of different
There you go.
stuff.
That's awesome.
What was your address?
There you go. All right, so we're leaving here. We're heading over to Chumley's.
Yeah, apparently.
For part 2 of
Buckner,
this,
what's
Part
your,
two.
What's your cheap, or not cheap, but for the money go to?
So a good buddy of mine that I cherish and love very much once told me about the bottled and bond process, and I didn't really know about it. And man, you can get some killer. I mean, if you go with the bottled and bond stuff, like you get some killer stuff for very affordable.
Right now, the George Dickel, the 13-year bottle and bond,
Yeah.
the blue label. There's an 11 and there's a 13. The 13s are going for anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a bottle, and it's still whiskey. It's not even bourbon.
Yeah.
Dickel is just now. They have a new distiller. They're just now. She is phenomenal, dude. Phenomenal. They just released their 8-year bourbon, which there's a case at home, obviously.
Not a bottle.
Not
A
a
case.
case.
He said a case.
Just in case.
I got birthday presents or Christmas presents, but anyway, that 13 year
Yeah.
is it's rated the best whiskey in the country right now, and it's on the shelf. Obviously, the store's different. I want to say it's $39, $38,
It's crazy.
and it's
you go.
it's knock it out. The if you can, that's not a good money. The Baker's 8-year.
Yeah.
If you like hot, it's thick, it's brown, it's got so much layered flavor for an 8-year bourbon, and then it's not hot until you exhale, and then you're like, okay, slow down,
Slow down.
slow down.
So two.
The not young.
2 for me right now.
Yeah.
That is, and I would have never picked this one, especially the Knob Creek 9-year.
It's phenomenal.
It's like throw everything you believe about Knob Creek.
Yeah.
And go get that bottle.
Yeah.
And then my second one would be, and I'm not gonna say what you're gonna say.
You know what it
Would
is?
be- yeah.
Okay.
Old Granddad 114.
Yep. Yeah.
It's
The heck?
it's
It's a-
cheap
yeah.
and it's
Dude,
you
what
give
the
it,
heck with it?
You
Sounds
give it
wise.
10 minutes to open up, and it's unbelievable.
It is. It's crazy. I was
do that
blown
with
away on that
Cheetos.
one. And then that freaking Evan
up.
Evan
I let it
Williams.
breathe. I let it breathe for
Evan-
about 2 seconds.
Evan Williams
And then I'll
is
pour it.
money,
I'll
the
pour it.
bottle and bond, and there's also if you can find a bottle of Old Crow that is pre-80, 1980.
Wow.
I mean, they're not going. Bourbon aficionados are getting there. That was in '80. It was probably a $7 bottle, $6 bottle.
Wow.
Wow.
Find that and indulge.
If I would say,
Old Crow.
and Buckner and I have talked about this a lot. You take white label bottled and bond Evan Williams.
Yeah.
Put it in a decanter.
Yep.
And put it
President.
against.
I don't care.
Put it in a blind flight, and it'll win. It will beat high end bourbons.
When he told me about it, I immediately was like, Chris, buddy. And he was like, okay, fine. Try it.
When we opened, Whiskey Kitchen I built. Like, it was a shell. We built it up. So going through that process of what's going behind the bar, obviously most kitchen guys, but when you're the chef, you get involved with those. So I was very fortunate to taste in about 2 weeks probably 300 bourbons and whiskeys.
Wow.
And we did a lot of blind tasting because they would come in and say, we need to do this, do this, do this. It's I mean, what you learn is just out of control. What's crazy, the Jefferson's Reserve, the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, that story, you know the story behind that? They sink it. So angel share is what is evaporated. Devil's cut's what stays in the wood.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So when you sink it, there is no angel share. It's the wood soaks it up. The wood soaks up the liquid. The alcohol stays in the juice. So that's why and then that alcohol, that concentration of alcohol in there under the water pressure, and then it doesn't get air, it doesn't get no oxygen to do its thing, it well, not really ferments, but it ages like a really fine wine at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of those things the complexities just start to go crazy. But what's really cool is they have that chef's collaboration that Jefferson does. It's cheaper. It's a blend of things, but I don't know whose idea was that, but that stuff is it's lemonade to me in the wintertime, man. I'll pour a glass and put one ice cube in it and just have at it.
Yeah.
And that's the Jefferson's.
Well, you can't. They don't make it. They made one run of it, and then that was it.
He's like, it's so good, but
cool,
you can't
great.
have it.
All right,
Hey.
well,
Hey, it sounds really good, don't it, Zach?
2 ounces left at home. That's it.
okay,
2
there's
ounces.
Chris and I are one. Yeah.
But no, that Jefferson's does a good job. The Woodford, oh man, Woodford is just. I mean, I don't want to knock on them, but they've slacked a little bit. But they do have a what is it? It's a green label. Come to me. That stuff's good. The double oak depends on which run you get. But there's a lot out and here's the thing. There's a lot of bourbons out there that I think you should go to a restaurant, somebody that has them, and try them before you go buy them.
Yeah.
So that's where you're.
That's what
that's
I'm trying
where
to do. I'm like,
that's
you
what
know,
you're
I
doing.
try to get up here. As soon as I make some more room, we'll put them all on the bar. But here pretty soon, I'm going to try to do this thing early December maybe, before everybody gets into the Christmas mode when everybody's
I got you.
shopping and they're
I
done
like
and
this.
they
Hey,
fit.
yeah.
They
We're
feel great.
in.
It's like the
Yeah.
guys need a little.
We're in.
I'm
so
in.
we're gonna try.
You know where to find us.
Yeah, we're going to try to do that, and I've got about 6 or 7 more bottles that my reps are working really hard to get that are allocated.
Yeah.
That on premise doesn't get very much because all these little bourbon clubs and whiskey clubs are buying them up.
Yeah.
So I've got my feelers out on a handful of stuff, and I mean I've probably got 30 bottles now that I'll put out, but there's about 7, 8, 10 more that I just it's stuff that is hard to get your hands on. If you're not an aficionado or interested in it, you wouldn't know about. So, and if you do know about it, you're going to look at it and go, "That's a value." If I get to taste 20 ounces, 40 different bourbons, most of which I've had and food for $150, $200.
Yep.
I'll pay that.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I can only put. I'm not going to crowd it. I'll put 35, 40 people in there.
Hey.
So that everybody gets drunk and has a good time.
Hey, I like it.
I mean,
Just send those invites to us first,
Yeah.
Chumley.
Oh,
You
yeah.
let us know first. We're
Yeah.
in.
I've got a list right now, and you guys will be 5, 6, 7, and 8 on it.
I like
Let's
it.
go.
Yeah.
Let's
I like
go.
it. And see, the
Absolutely.
wives can go Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
The guys can come here.
They can
Yeah.
pick us up on the way home.
Make sure
Look
you
at that.
Give them the small credit card.
Hey, look, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I know is small, man.